Hello everyone. It's Melissa Faust from stampwithmelissa.com, and I am so excited to have you join me today for day one of the holiday break fun fold craft along. It is the holiday season. You can tell I still have my Christmas tree up. I got a gingerbread over here. You know, it's that weird time between Christmas and New Year's where you really don't know what day it is. But anyway, today's day one. I can tell you that. Day one of the holiday break fun fold craft along. And again, I'm just so excited to have you here. So today we are going to make two fun fold projects. They actually were designed by me. I get to go first in our series, which is really exciting. We did a random generator for the order of which demonstrators projects are going to be shown, and I got to go first, so that's exciting. But we are going to show you those two projects today, walk you through how to make them, and then I will have 5 more videos coming up the next 5 days with 2 more projects each day. So you're going to walk away with a total of 12 fun fold cards. My hope is that at least one of the cards is brand new to you, and I think there might be one on day 3. I've never seen it before, so I think that hopefully maybe you haven't either. So we're going to dive in just a second. I am going to walk you through the kit because some of you did pre-register for a craft along kit so that you could craft along live with me. And so I'm going to show you that before we dive into today's projects. All right, so this is what we've got here. We've got a really awesome PDF tutorial. Speaking of the PDF, for those of you who did not pre-register for this kit, there are a couple of ways that you can get this PDF in your hands. This is really nice because you've got the measurements written down, you've got instructions, you've got short video links. So not only do you have my video today, but you're also going to get access to a shorter video from each of us demonstrators. So for example, I filmed like really just how does this fun fold work? No decoration, but like how does this fun fold work for both of my projects today? Those are also linked in the tutorial. Let me see if I can find that to show you so that you can click on them. Of course, if you print it out, you can't like click on it. But anyway, you can see here where it says click here to view. So if you're on your computer or your phone or tablet or something, you can actually click and watch those videos if it's in the future and you want to come back and revisit and you just need a quick like, wait, how did that thing happen again? But anyway, if you would like this PDF and you did not pre-register for the kit, because those of you who did, you have access to it already. And of course, my incredible crafters team, you can go get this from our PDF store as well for free. But otherwise, you can get this PDF in 2 ways. The first way is you can purchase it directly from my PDF store. That link is in the description of the video. It is $25. You get access to the whole thing. It's really awesome. Or the second way is if you've got some things on your Stampin' Up! Wish list that you want to grab, you know, maybe you got some money for Christmas or something, you can place a $50 order before tax and shipping, and after you apply any of your Stampin' Rewards, you're going to get this for free as a thank you gift from me if your order goes in before the end of the day on January 2nd. So, oh my gosh, January 2nd, 2026. I can't believe that's already this week. That is crazy. All right, so let me show you real quick just what your kit looks like for those of you who did register with me, or if you didn't register with me and you're having a little bit of FOMO, this is what it looked like. Everybody got these cute little daisy bags with a sweet little tag tied to it. And then when you open up your bag, they had candy, which I do not have in my bag anymore. Well, I shouldn't say anymore. The pack I bought, I had enough to give everybody who registered 2 of each, but none for me. So I skipped the candy for myself. So imagine there was candy. You also got 2 full packs of embellishments, Pearls of Beauty and flower accents. As we make our projects today, I'm going to use my already opened packs, just so you know. You got a spool of the Petal Pink braided trim. This is on the last chance list, so that was kind of fun to include for you before it goes. And you got a full spool of the Garden Green Chevron ribbon, which is out of stock until the middle of January. So again, kind of fun that, you know, we were able to get things ordered and to you before they disappeared. And then you also got 2 of these cute things. They're probably attached together. In my kits, I think we sent them attached together, but these are actually fridge magnets. Yours are different, so we actually got to decorate them. So my niece and nephew, Kylie and Russell, they actually helped me put all the flowers inside the vases. This one is Russell's. Kylie already took hers home, and then this one I got to keep for me. So Russell and I match in our vases. But we just thought these were really, really cute and really fun, just as something, you know, lively, spring-like to decorate on your fridge. So you got those as well. And then everybody also got a full pack of the Hobby Haven DSP. So you can see we're going to dive into this. I like to give myself a brand new pack to start with as we create our projects in the craft along. So we've got that. That pack also includes some punch out pieces that we're going to use. And then you got a cute little envelope with all of your cardstock. It is thick and heavy. I think we counted out there's 25 or 26 sheets of cardstock in here. So you can see we've got all of our cardstock in here. We've got some vellum. If you registered with me on one of the projects on day 3, you needed like a center window cut out, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to cut that for you instead of having you try to like trace around and cut it out. So I thought I'd make it a little easier for you. You've also got your envelopes for your projects, and you've got a little bag that is stuffed full. There's lots of die cuts and punched pieces in these projects. So anything that was not using the featured bundles, these are all in this baggie for you. So, okay. Let's see then. I'm going to set this to the side. You know what? I'm going to move these envelopes out because I know that as I create, they're going to just end up everywhere. And I like to just shove all of my scraps right back in the front of this, and that's going to get messy. So, okay, so let's take a look here at the PDF. Today we are making my projects. I am super excited. I did not mention this already, but I partnered with Julie Salva, Judy Tuttle, Jennifer Hill, Rhonda Wade, and Ange McKay on this. So you get to see 2 projects from each of us throughout this week. So we are going to start with my projects today. And let me pull that so that I am on. I'm missing staples. I couldn't find my stapler, so I'm using a binder clip for this, and I gotta get it in order, get it figured out, because it makes it a little inconvenient. You know what? We're just gonna unclip it because that just seems like a smarter idea, right? Right. Okay. So let's go ahead and, okay, stand up for me. There you go. We are going to grab our trimmer and we are going to get started. Oh, I didn't mention. Oh my gosh, brain, holiday brain. These are the 2 bundles we are using, Pop-Up Petals and Friendly Foliage. And so we are going to use these awesome die cuts as well. Anything that is stamped and die cut with the featured bundles, we're going to do live. And then as I mentioned, if something was like a circle die or something, that is pre-done for you, okay? All right, so let's go ahead. Also, by the way, I think I did come up with names for my cards, but I don't remember what they are. I am the worst at that, so help me out if you can think of an idea. Okay, hold on. That's not staying how I want it to. I'm going to set it to the side here because it's being difficult. All right, we are going to start with a Secret C piece here. We're going to cut this at 4 1/4. And then it's by 11, so we're going to score this in half at 5 1/2. And then we're going to cut a second piece here that is 5 3/8 by 2 5/8. And as I mentioned, if you want those detailed, like if you want the measurements all written down, you're going to want to get the PDF, okay? All right, real quick before we go anywhere with this piece, we are going to score this. Now, I know I'm kind of silly because I did every 3/8 of an inch so that it would be even all the way across. If you'd rather emboss this with an embossing folder or something, go ahead and do that. I'm going to score it to create like a fun little embossed piece. So we're going to score every 3/8 of an inch. All right, 3/8. Okay, and then I count. So then 3/4, and then 1 1/8. Hopefully this helps you. 1 1/2. Okay, then I'll flip it around this way. And then we're going to go 1 7/8. I have to count the eighths as I go. 2 1/4. Okay, so that's the first way. You can see those lines in there. Now we're going to go this way. 3/8. 3/4. Is that right? Yeah, 1 1/8. Whoops, sorry, I didn't mean to slam that down. 1 1/2. Turn that, and then we're gonna go 1 2 3 1 7/8. 2 1/4. 2 5/8. 3. 3 3/8. 3 3/4. 4 1/8. 4 1/2, and finally 4. Wait, is that right? Hold on. Did I get that right? I might have done one wrong somewhere in there. I don't know. 4 7/8. Is this right? Yeah. Why does that look like I'm off one? Doesn't it? Like at the very end, it looks like I'm off. Let's score once more. So what was I at? 4 7/8. And then I went to boop, 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 5 1/4. I don't know. I didn't have to do that on my first one. Oh, you know what? I'm off on my first one. Okay, anywho. That's what we've got, okay? If that was like insane, just emboss it or just leave it. Whatever you want to do. All right, let's grab a piece of basic white. Now you have one sheet of thick basic white in this pack, so I put it like in the middle and your basic white is on top. We're going to cut at 2 5/8 by 10 3/4. So what I'm going to do is just cut off a 1/4 inch. And then we're going to score this in half at 5 3/8. We're going to do some die cutting on this later, but we'll just set it to the side. And then we need a rectangle die cut. So this is from the Perennial Postage dies. We'll grab our little package here. And it's the one that looks like a postage stamp. It's real cute. Just right there, okay? All right, so we've got that. Close up the baggie here so we don't spill them all. And then we just want a little piece for stamping. So I'm just going to take this and just cut it at like 3 inches. We'll be able to use it for a couple of cards. Okay, put our white away, and then we want Coastal Cabana, which is near the back. I actually put it right next to Pool Party, which was not a great idea. So if you pull that out comparing with Pool Party is the lighter color, okay? So we want Coastal Cabana. We're going to cut that at 1 by 11, so just cut off an inch here. Okay. Excuse me. And then, you know what, before we move to the DSP, let's grab a piece of Petal Pink. We're using lots of Petal Pink in these projects. It's very cute for spring. We're going to cut this at 5/8 by 2 1/2. Just like that. All right. We are done with our cardstock. When we go on to make card number 2, we'll pull out our cardstock again and then cut the pieces. I just want to keep it easy and cut only the pieces for this card right now. All right, then we're going to open up our DSP here, and we want it's a really, really pretty color. It is in the back before the punch-out pieces, and it's this guy right here. Oh, it's gorgeous. We're going to cut this at 5/8. So I like to start there because it's most effective for our paper. We're going to cut at 5/8. Sorry, I know I hide my face when I do that. You know, I can set this to the side. By 5 3/8, and we need 2 of them. Here's 1 and 2, and if you want to save this tiny itty bitty little scrap, you are more than welcome to, but I'm going to discard that. Okay, let's see, where should I set my trimmer? We'll put it over here. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead. We are going to start all the fun stuff. So let's start with stamping because that's always the most fun. And we are going to grab our Secret Sea ink pad. And let's just stamp everything that needs to be done in Secret Sea. So we've got You Get Me and I Appreciate That. For this first card, all of the stamps I'm using are from Pop-Up Petals. Okay, so we've got that. And then what else do we want? We want a piece of scrap white and that. Okay, so on here, we are going to stamp our bouquet of flowers in Secret Sea. Okay, and just set that to the side. We're going to use it again. And then what else do we want? We want some other stuff with Secret Sea, but we need to do some other things. So let's close that for a second. We're going to grab in Petal Pink, and then this is the flower filler, and then the little centers of the flower. If you want to use blends or something to color that, you can do that as well. So I'm just going to ink up the flowers in Petal Pink, and I'm going to get my head over this, so I apologize if I block out the view. And my hand always shakes when I go to do that, like I get nervous. I'm going to totally mess it up. Okay, and then let me pull in my messy scrap paper here. Ink up the centers of the flowers, and I'm going to stamp off once, just so we get a slightly lighter shade there, so our flowers just don't look like they're all the same color, right? All right, so that's it for Petal Pink. Move that out of the way. And then we're going to grab Coastal Cabana. And on our scrap white, we are going to stamp this vase that had, I call it the vase and the pot. Let's just leave it like that just for ease. So we're going to stamp the vase or the vase. I don't know how you say it, but I say vase. All right, stamp that down on the scrap white. Okay, and then we'll set that over here. We're going to grab that die cut perennial postage piece and we're going to stamp the pot towards the bottom-ish. Okay, so we've got that. And then what we're going to do, we're done with Coastal. What we're going to do is I'm going to grab a Post-it note. You can also just use like scrap paper or something because we're going to stamp that bouquet of flowers again, and I want it to look like it's coming out of the pot. So, you know, you've got like this bottom section of stems, and I think if you stamped it like that, that would look kind of funny. So what I'm going to do is come over on the top of the pot here and just put my Post-it note down. Just like so, and luckily it's a yellow Post-it, so I can still see the vase through it. Or the pot. Oh my gosh, I'm already getting confused. Alright, then we can grab our Secret Sea ink again. Ink up that bouquet of flowers, and then go ahead and stamp that down. Now you do kind of cut off one of the leaves a little bit, and I think that's okay, but if you didn't want to do that, just move your Post-it over so that leaf will stamp a little bit better, okay? All right, so we've got that, and then real quick, we are going to, where did I put my, here it is, my chamois. We're going to just clean off those flower fillers for the petal and the centers. Grab our messy scrap paper real quick because we're going to do some stamping off. Ink up the petals, stamp off, and then stamp those petals of the flowers. Which way am I going? Yeah, that's right. Okay. Boom. Commit. Just do it, right? Oh, that's so off, but it's okay because it's handmade. People love it. All right, and then we're going to ink up the centers and stamp off twice. I know these ones will be better. There. Honestly, it doesn't look too bad being a little offset. It just looks like shaded. I don't know. Works for me. All right, so we've got that done. Now we need to do some die cutting, and then we'll do all of our assembling. So on our scrap piece here, we are going to die cut out the vase and the bouquet. All right, so let's line this guy up. I'll just use my washi tape to hold it in place here. And then we'll do the vase, the vase, however you want to say it. Like so, and then my machine's right over on the side here. I'll just run this through. Had to bring in a TV tray to work as a second desktop because otherwise it just gets too crowded. All right, so we've got the bouquet and we've got the vase. So the rest of this we can save for another project. Like so, and then we're not quite done. We're going to take this, this smaller pop-up piece. We've got two. We're going to use this one on a different card, but we'll use this one for today. And what we're going to do is take that basic white piece that we scored in the middle. And here's the score line. I know it's kind of hard to pick that up on camera. There you go. You can see that right there. And I'm just going to line this up. We've got these two little arrow pointed edges here. I'm just lining this up in the center and making sure that those arrows are right on the score line. And I'll use my Post-it note tape again just to hold that in place. And then run this through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And that's going to create a cute little pop-up for us. This is kind of nice. It doesn't actually die cut anything out. It just creates those lines for us. So of course you could try to cut those on your own, but it's a lot easier with a die. All right, so this is what we've got. Isn't that so cool? So now we can go ahead and start assembling. Well, you know what? We've got one more step here. On our Secret Sea card base, I can't believe I forgot it. Where am I cutting? 3/4. Okay, so on here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut from the score line up to the top of the card, or score line down, whichever one you want to do, but stop at that score line, okay? So I'm going to line up at 3/4 of an inch on the right side of my trimmer, and I'm going to take my blade. There's a little slit in the blade right here, and I can just line that right up with my score line, and then I will cut up. Okay, so we're going to create like little legs. I'm just going to flip that over and do the other side here. Excuse me. All right, so we've kind of got little legs here. I don't know what else to call them, so I like to just call them legs. All right, so then what we can do, so this is a little bit, I think I called it a center fold pop-up. I don't know, you still have to tell me in the comments, what would you call this fun fold? Okay, so we've got all of these pieces here, right? And we're going to glue these side pieces down flat on the card, all right? The only piece that will open is that center section. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run, maybe I'll flip these over, okay? Just on these the little skinny tabs, I'm just going to run some seal all the way down. Use your liquid glue as well for this, especially because they are skinny, even though they're scored and all that, you could still glue it down like this, right? And you don't want to do that. So I just kind of guide it and watch that I'm at the edge of the card and glue down one side, and then same thing here and glue down the other side, okay? All right, so then let's work on the inside of the card. We're going to take this piece, and what I like to do with this pop-up piece, I just completely fold it in half to burnish, and then you can just kind of use your finger to pop that up, okay? And then I just fold it again. I just find that a little bit easier to reinforce those folds. All right, and then I like to add lots of seal on one half. Okay, and then we're just going to, this sticky side, right now I have sticky side up, so I'm putting non-sticky side down so I can slide this. And I'm just going to use my flap here to help this to show where it needs to go. Okay, and then just, hold on. Let me hold it this way. Okay. Lots of sticky stuff. At least if it were liquid glue, my fingers would be so gross. Okay, and then fold that down. Right now the whole thing's gonna come up because we need to adhere this side. So add your seal. And then you can fold it whichever way you want, but I'll just fold that back like this. So cool. Isn't that so cool? All right, so then what we're going to do is we are going to take our little vase here and just put some seal at the top. Just at the little, what is that, bottleneck or whatever it's called. And then I just kind of place those flowers wherever I want them on the back here. And this is going to sit on this bottom piece. So we don't want anything on this top, right? If you think of it as a tabletop, we don't want anything on the top, we want it on the leg. Okay, so what I like to do is, because you can actually lay this back flat again, I just add my seal right on that bottom leg, and it likes to do this sometimes, but you can finagle it, get it to go back where you want. And then we're going to go ahead and just place our vase down. Now the vase does cover the whole thing, so that's kind of nice when you add your adhesive. And look at that, isn't that so cool? So that is all attached. That is the inside. If you want to stamp a sentiment, you can do that for sure. And then I'll just reinforce that burnish there. Take that scored / embossed Secret C piece here. And then this is going to go on the front. I thought we just needed a little something on the front here. A little texture or something. If you want to cut a piece of DSP for that, you could do that as well. Whoops. Fling that off the desk. And then we'll take our DSP strips here and add some adhesive. And then these are going to go on those little legs here that we glued down earlier. Oh, it's so cute. I love how actually quite simple this card is. And if you have the pop-up petals set, those dies, like you don't have to just use pop-up petals, right? You can use them with any other set of dies. Okay, so then I'm going to take that Coastal Cabana piece and just lay this in front. And luckily I have those grid lines so I can kind of see that it's even. And I'm just going to lightly pinch and wrap this around the card. And I like to make sure it's straight when I do this on the back side here. And I'm just going to add a bit of seal here where I know it's going to get covered. And take this other end here and just create a belly band. As you guys know, I like my cards to lay flat. And this one, because of that pop-up element, it did not want to lay flat, so I had to help it out with a belly band. All right, then we're going to just take some seal on our belly band here. You can see I didn't do it too far, and we'll take that die cut piece, and I just wanted to angle this here, like so. And then before we glue our sentiment, we're going to add some of this petal pink trim. So I'm going to cut, I don't know, this is maybe a foot or so, 12 inches. And I just cut the trim. Now this trim is very pretty, but it's pretty thick. So I'm just going to take some of these strands here and unbraid it. Okay, so I'm just going to commit, and you know what? This one piece that I cut, we can probably, I mean, we'll see, but we could probably get through quite a few of our cards this week with this one piece here. Okay, so I'm just looking for when it's on the edge again. And pulling out those threads. Okay, and then once you get near to the bottom, I don't know, I might be a little too far. Oh, there we go. I just pull. Once I get closer to the bottom, it's a little bit easier to do that. So now I've got 3 of the individual strands, and I'm going to go ahead and tie a bow. And I might have too much twine here for the size bow I actually want. And that's okay, because we can always trim the tails, right? Okay, and then I got lots of little braided pieces, so that's how you do that. All right, so we've got that tied. Let me grab my glue dots here. We are going to stick the knot on the dot. Pick that up with my Take Your Pick tool. I always get asked about this tool, Take Your Pick tool. If you don't have one, you need one. Like, I'm telling you, you need one. I always get asked, where'd you get that thing? It looks awesome. From Stampin' Up. It is awesome. You need it. All right, then we're going to grab some dimensionals, and I'm going to grab 4. We're going to place them on either side of our knot. Peel off the backings, so I place 2 down, and then we're going to double stack. Because that knot is still a little bit tall, so we don't want any like bump in the middle of our sentiment here. You can go ahead and add this down. So cute. So everything is attached to the belly band, which is great because that can slide on and off for us then. And then we'll finish this one off. We're going to use a couple of the pearls here, and we're going to use the white ones. And add 1 big and 1 little. And that is our first card. Isn't it so cute? And you just slide that belly band off, and then surprise inside, right? All right, that is our first card. Give me just a second here to get ready, and then we'll do our second card. All right, so we are going to start our second card. We've got a piece of garden green. We're going to cut this at 5 by 10.5. Okay, and then we're going to score this at 3.5 and 7. Okay, so once we've got this cut, what we're going to do is we are going to, and I have a diagram here. I just want to do this right now. Hold on, let's find this. Instead of later, so I don't forget. So I have a diagram included for you in the PDF. So that shows on the right-hand side, we're going to cut off 3 inches, and on the left-hand side, we're going to cut off 2 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this back up on the score line, and I'm going to use the marker, the ruler on this side at 2 inch. Okay, and cut just like that, right? So we've got that cut, and then I'll line this up at 2. And again, find that score line and cut off. So we've got that first piece, and then we can save this for something later. Okay, and then we're going to do the similar thing on the other side here. So we're going to line up that score line. And I like to pull this all the way down to that 3 inch mark and cut up, right? So we've got it like this. And then we'll line this up at the 3 inches and cut off that top section. And again, save that for later, okay? All right, so we've got that, just like so, right? And then we're going to take another piece of garden green here, and we want this to be 2 3/4 by 8. And we'll score this one in half at 4. Okay, so we'll move these pieces here, and then we want to grab some scrap white. We want 2 1/2 by 3 3/4, right? And then we just want a strip for our sentiment. I don't remember. You know what? Let's grab that scrap piece we had before, this guy here, and we're going to cut, I don't know, 3/8 of an inch. It's a pretty skinny sentiment, so we'll just cut a little piece like that, okay? All right. Then we need some Coastal Cabana for stamping. So let's cut this down to 3, and then we'll just use that for stamping, die cut off what we need, and have the rest, okay? All right, so that's that. Then we need our DSP, and sorry for the noise. We're gonna start, let's grab that grid pattern to start. So it's like a garden green grid. Here it is. On the one side is like baking. Oh, this paper is so cute. Okay, so for the grid, we're gonna start, let's cut at 3 3/4, because this can be flipped anyway, because it's a grid, right? Okay, so we're gonna have 3 3/4 by 2 1/2. Okay, and then we want 1 3/4 by 3 1/4. And then we want 2 3/4 by 3 1/4. And another one at 2 3/4 by 3 1/4. Okay, and then I think that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4 grids, and then we have like a pretty scene. So it's the paper that has like armchairs and plants. Oh, this one is so cute. So cute. The backside is the petal pink grid, which we're going to get a lot of use out of that too. All right, so for this one, let's start here. We're going to cut at 3 1/4 so that we have like a portrait. Okay, so that will work for both of our measurements. Then we want to cut at 4 3/4. And we want one that is 1 3/4. Okay, just like that. All right, and then last but not least, we're going to pull out one of those punch-out pieces. Now, I will warn you, once you, actually, you know what, mine's at the top. We want the white leaf. Once you pull out these punch-out pieces, they are so hard to get back in the package, so that's just a warning. If you have a desktop where you can set them, do that, but mine was right at the top, so I just punched it out without pulling out the paper. But we want that white leaf. All right, so let me set this here, and we'll move this out of the way as well. And then we're going to start with stamping, because that's the best place to start. So this bundle we're using is Friendly Foliage. I'm going to start with Garden Green, and then we have this fun like vine image here. And we want to grab our basic white piece right here, okay? I've got my messy scrap paper because of the way we're going to stamp this. This is just going to create a cute little border at the bottom. Okay, so I intentionally, like, you could go almost all the way across, but not quite, so I intentionally kind of leave some space there. Okay, and then just try to line that up. Pretty good, not bad. All right, so we've got that. We can close up our garden green. Okay, and then let's move to, let's do that skinny white piece here. We are going to stamp the sentiment that says Sending Love in Secret C. So go ahead and ink that up, and then I am going to get my head over this. So I apologize if it's out of the camera. Just go ahead and stamp that down. I tried to stamp it as center as possible, not bad. Okay, close up Secret C. And last but not least, we are going to stamp our cute little focal image here, which is this fun leaf. I love it so much. The foliage, our fun foliage. So we are going to stamp Coastal Cabana ink on Coastal Cabana cardstock. Okay. And just stamp that down. I do like to leave a little bit of a border on this at the bottom because of the way the die works, okay? All right, and then we'll close up Coastal Cabana, and I'm really excited to show you this die. Oh, hold on, I didn't put this DSP away. I'll just set it there. Okay, so the way this die works is there is a couple of options. The first one is you can just use this die to die cut out the whole outside, but if you want some of these center sections removed, you can also use this die. So that's what we're going to do. So I'll start with this piece here. And if you line up the leaves that poke outside of the rectangle, that is like the easiest bet. You are going to have a border, right? So at the bottom, that's why I left some room, because it looks like you should push the die up. Don't do that. All right, and then we'll take this piece, and I try not to move that border piece if possible. And again, just line this up with as many leaves as possible. Carefully bring in your washi tape to hold those together. Now, if you wanted to as well, you could die cut these separately. So you could die cut the whole border first if you wanted to. And then go back in with that detailed piece, but you know, sometimes you gotta live on the edge a little. So I like to try my, shoot my shot here, and I try to do it at the same time. So let's see how that turned out. Okay, and you're gonna get lots of little pokey bits to come out of here too, but that's okay. That's called something to deal with later. See all those? You're gonna wanna poke them out later. All right, look at how cool that is. Isn't that so fun? So we've got all those insides cut out too. So now we can go ahead and assemble the card, and it actually comes together quite easy. So let's start with our largest garden green piece. And we are going to fold, oh, whoops, this way. I want it this way. I want the larger side to be on the left and the shorter side to be on the right. Now I actually am going to pull my trimmer in again on this larger section. I just like to trim that down just a smidge so that our pieces can fold a little better, because this larger section will fold in and then the shorter, and you can see it doesn't want to. That's just, user error or just scoring a little off or whatever. Like, it's just natural. So I just take that larger section in my trimmer and just cut a smidge off. It doesn't have to be much. It's just a hair, right? Just a little. I don't measure it. But that way I have some extra room so that that side can close, okay? All right. You could also do it with your scissors, but I do not trust myself to do that. All right, let's add some DSP. So we're going to start with that largest seam piece here of DSP. Add some adhesive. And then this is going to go in the center. Okay, just like so. Let's grab our other DSP pieces. So this piece, that's the same size as that basic white piece. We'll leave that to the side for now. But we've got these other pieces here. Let's add some adhesive to these. Okay. And you know that this cooking side is so cute, but I am the worst at baking and cooking and all that. I can imagine it being so cute for a scrapbook layout though. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with these grid patterns here, and they're going to go on the left flap. So we've got one on this side. Okay, fold that in, and then we're going to take the other one and put that here. So we've got decoration all the way inside and out on our card. Take this grid here, and it's going to go on the inside of that right flap. Fold that in, and then we've got the cute little scene here, and that's going to go on the outside. So it kind of ties together that DSP that we had here, right? All right, then we can open up our cardigan. Cardigan, yeah, you get it. Fold that garden green piece, and let's add some adhesive. And then this is going to go in the center of our card here. So we cover up a lot of that beautiful DSP, but it's okay, right? It's okay. All right, take this basic white piece that we stamped on, add some adhesive, and then this is going to go on the inside. And then while this center piece is open, we're going to close our card, and then that's going to go on the front like this. So we can take this other grid piece here add some more adhesive, and then this is going to go right on the front here. Just like so. So cute. I love this card. I think it's so fun. And I don't remember what I called it. So, anywho. All right, we're going to take our cute little punch-out leaf piece here. And you can decide. I want mine to lay down like this. So I'm just going to add some liquid glue, and I know I can't believe it either, but we're going to add some liquid glue here to some of these little leafies so that that can stay down on our DSP, just like this. Okay. And then I found that our mini dimensionals work really great for these. So I'm going to grab those. And I just put them wherever there's like a little bit of a wider opening. Like so, and maybe we want one in the middle somewhere. I don't know, here. Yeah, that's good. All right, peel off all the backings. I feel like the first time I made this card, I put like 20 dimensionals on the back. Now I'm like, 5's good. All right, and this is going to go here, and I do want to angle it just because I think that's cute. So we're going to stick that down. And then we can grab our sentiment, and if you want to trim it down a little, you can. I'm just going to run some adhesive on the back there. And then lay this, oops, it keeps twisting my hand. Lay this down on the card. Let's put it, yeah, just there like that. That looks good. I like that. Okay, so we've got that added. And we can take our beautiful, look at, you know, I said I was going to use what I had. Wow. Before I open my new one. Yeah, this is good ribbon. This is a really, really, really great ribbon. I love it a lot. So anyway, tie a bow. And then we're going to go ahead and add this to the card front. Okay, add the knot on a dot. Pick that up with our take your pick tool. I've got the braided trim following me, and then this is going to go over there. And then we're going to use the beautiful gold flower accents and add one big and one little, just like that. And that is our second card. What do you think of this one too? Help me come up with a name. I think I called it like a double door fold or something. But that is our second card. Isn't that so cute? And here is our first card that we made today as well. Thank you so much for joining me for day one of the Holiday Break Fun Fold Craft Along. I hope you had a blast putting together these projects. Can you please do me a favor, a couple favors? Number one, can you please make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. At the time that I'm filming this, I am nearing 4,000 subscribers, and I'm just counting it down, watching it every day. I'm kind of obsessing. So if you're not subscribed, I would super duper appreciate if you would do that. Second thing, I need names for these, so please drop your name recommendations in the comments. What would you call these fun folds? I'm open to anything. And then the third favor is, will you head over to my Facebook group after you've made your versions and share pictures, please? I think that there's something about seeing other people crafting that helps us, right? It gets us motivated to craft also. And I know sometimes we just need that coming out of like a holiday funk, right? Getting ready for the new year. Maybe we're a little crafted out. We need some motivation and reinvigoration to get crafty again. So I would just appreciate that. I will put the link to that in the description of this video. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow for day 2. We've got some really fun cards coming your way. I'll see you then. Bye for now.